we take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. So, Rob, if somebody said, hey, Rob, are you an influencer? What would you tell them? I'm talking about just an influencer of anything. What would you tell them?
Well, first yeah, that's a great question, Cheryl. And you know what? My first reaction was I would always turn red. But as I'm spending more time on LinkedIn and as I'm looking for influencers on, the problem again is the expectation. You see these rock stars on LinkedIn, but we don't have to be a rock star to be an influencer. Just in our Network Today community, we are influencing our audience, our community, with networking tips. And so now it's a point of wanting to help our community.
That's right. That's right. Amen, brother. So you don't have to be a superstar to be an influencer. I would call you a literary influencer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Did you think about that?
I am now because you gave me the great idea before the show about spending more time about Rob's library.
Yeah. And if I had to say, oh, Cheryl, what do you influence? I'd say just over the lifespan of my life, I'd say probably a voiceover artist influencer, just because that's kind of the bulk of where I spent most of my time. But now maybe moving into being and this is the topic for today, a networking influencer.
Yes.
And how do you do that? It is a growth position that anybody can do.
Right.
You don't have to have a pedigree to start doing it. So we've actually got 3 ways you can be an influencer, then 3 ways that you can activate those areas of influence. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm taking notes too.
Well, and be sure and share some of the notes you get. I know you're a little copious writer there. So number 1, how to be a networking influencer is to create and share valuable content. Now, there is somebody that I probably mentioned before that everybody should follow, and that is on LinkedIn. And you can also follow her on Instagram, but Holly Crawshaw.
Yes.
This gal, so it's CrawShaw. Crawshaw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She actually, and she goes into her story, so you see a lot of this, but she sucked at LinkedIn. She sucked at social networking. She sucked at all of that. But she happened to be a mom, right? So she's working hard to provide for her beautiful little daughters and figured out a way to maximize LinkedIn. And she's not the top at the LinkedIn numbers in regards to people followers. But I think I heard she's the top engager, which is why. So follow her because you will learn a ton. So Holly Crawshaw. And here's what she talks about. Create and share valuable content all day long. Just posting stuff, whimsical stuff. That's nice. It makes you make you feel good. But what LinkedIn is after is what LinkedIn consumers are after. And that's nuggets, juicy nuggets that they can take with them.
Right.
That help them grow. So I can't even say, enough about what she brings to the table there. But she does create and share valuable content. All right, number 2, build and curate communities. Number 3, strategic and consistent engagement. Which out of those 3 do you think is the most important in being a networking influencer?
Ooh.
I know. I didn't give you a chance to think about that one.
Yeah, because they're all 3 important.
Right.
All 3 of them, you kind of need all 3. They all go hand in hand. Yowie. I'm going to sort of say build and create your community. I was wrestling with number 1 because you have to create, and share your valuable content. But you got to have that community first.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say number 2.
Number 2.
What's behind door number 2?
That's right. Me too. I feel like if you don't have all the content stuff, so in the case of Holly, and I hope, Holly, you don't mind that we bring you up on this, but in the case of Holly, she's a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Right. And then she had to learn how to figure out LinkedIn to help her grow her growth. So she's already a writer. She already is used to finding content. She's lovely. So those things all help her
Right.
To be an influencer.
Right.
But if you're not that person, because I have to take a look at that. I do not have any gift of writing. None. Zero. Not even with AI assistance. I'm like, I still suck. But you can still be a real human that people really want to be around just by being you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But also bringing in other humans to help them grow. And that's where that building and curating communities, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah, I think when people see that you're a real person, where you're authentic, that really does go a long way.
Yeah.
And then again, it goes back to being consistent. People are seeing you. You've built that where, again, you've got to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
And then after a year, when people have seen you being a consistent poster, now I think you do have to kind of shift gears in making your content more valuable and throw out those golden nuggets and those type things.
Yeah, almost had I really, now that we're talking about it, thought through this, I would have moved the build and curate communities as to number one. I mean, these aren't necessarily in order of priority, but I do think that, that's super important. And it can be done by anybody on any level, building and curating communities. So here are some tips on how to do that, right? This is real world stuff. So organizing events. I know you do a ton. I live for it.
Right.
That's what gets me out of my jammies every morning.
Right.
I can't wait to organize an event, host an event, bring people together in person.
Right.
I'm really, really good at that. That's my superpower. But not everybody's good at that.
Right.
They might want to. They might think they're good at that. Here are simple ways to now have, instead of a macro like I like to do, have micros. Like there are two people I'm going to mention here. So Joe Santallaria.
Okay.
He would bring people together, and he would have kind of a round the table power team type forum. Right. He'd pick an industry or kind of a topic, and then the industry professionals that he felt best aligned with that particular subject or silo, vertical, whatever. And it was really a great way to, so in 1 hour, people got to know each other and find ways to align themselves and have actionable interests directly after the meeting.
Absolutely. I mean, I was invited one time to be there. There's probably 15 to 18, professionals there, connected with, 3 or 4 of them. So yeah, it was a great idea.
It was. I don't know what happened to it, but maybe I'm not getting the invitation anymore.
I didn't make the cut.
That's right. It doesn't have to be lunch. It could be dinner or breakfast. I find breakfast can be really good, especially for high-powered performers, right? Because they want to get out 7 a.m. Let's go grab some coffee. And you have 5 people that all come together that are like-minded, and it's for the express purpose of doing business together. But also, I'm going to talk about somebody else, Christy Klein. Do you know Christy?
Just vaguely through you.
And through Connect Fest, right?
Through Connect Fest,
She's the one who drove it from Houston last year.
Yeah, she was great.
In 2023. And we've just become fast friends. And she has a great Ask Me Anything forum that she does online through LinkedIn.
Oh, that's neat.
Yes. And then she brings on other like-minded professionals. And what that does, so when you're talking about becoming a networking influencer in both of these cases, so Joe's in person, Christy's online, and what it does is in the minds of all the other people that are either there or heard about it and just couldn't make it, right? They saw the invitation, they're thinking about it, but they see it again and again and again. All of a sudden, you're the influencer for bringing people together and elevating one another, right? So we're the rising tide, lifting all the ships.
Right.
So that's where I think that's super great. Here's another thing that will help, and I can't tell you that I like either of these, but hey,
bring them out.
I don't know everything. So social media tools like Slack or Discord.
Right.
Do you use Slack or Discord?
No, I've tried them both, and again, it's one of those things that there's so many other things where you're working on your LinkedIn, you're working on your Instagram, that you can't do it all.
Yeah.
And I think there's, a specific audience that use Discord and Slack, and I've always used it more for internal purposes and that type of thing. So, yeah, you can't do it all.
Yeah. I'm not sure. So if you do have some thoughts on this, please feel free to weigh in.
I would
comment,
love to hear
comment
some new ideas of maybe I'm not utilizing it properly.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
I know our church media tried the Slack, and it was like, wah, wah, wah. Like it just totally fizzled out. Like, and these are all young people. Like
Yeah,
I'm the old person. I thought I'd be the one who just didn't really get it, but apparently they didn't either. Anyway, but also LinkedIn groups.
Yeah.
So put in your search bar whatever you want to know and find those LinkedIn groups and get engaged there. Get engaged. Create your own group, right?
Yeah.
Because you're the influencer, right? You're starting that conversation. The thing I think that's really important about being an influencer too is that, and I encourage people to do this when they want to say, "Oh, Cheryl, can I be a part of can I do something like you're doing in your networking events, like mid-market professionals or whatever?" I say, sure you can. And the beauty of that is you really control the conversation, right? And it's work to be an influencer.
Yeah,
It takes discipline. But the other thing is that now it's a marketing tool, so people are seeing your name more often on whatever, right? So the posts, the emails, the texts, whatever's going out in person. So they're seeing that over and over and over again. So that's where I think the benefit of being an influencer is. It's your brand,
Right?
It's elevating the Rob Bliss brand,
Yeah.
the Cheryl Powers brand. But anybody who's in the brand world will tell you the key to success in a brand, it must correlate with your values, right? And you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
You better deliver on that too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can't just bring people together and then go leave and do bad stuff. You better be the person who's like in it to win
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So back to, since we both like number 2, there was the answer. So we kind of, killed, we kind of slayed the dragon there at the beginning. But in regards to hitting number 1 and number 3, create and share valuable content, which was number 1. Here's how to do it. Regularly share tips and trends on LinkedIn. How much easier is it now to do that with ChatGPT?
Right.
Or whatever. I mean, there's so many other apps. Chat even says, "Hey, here's some other apps. Go find some other apps." Right. So there are a lot of other ways you can do that just don't take a gazillion hours anymore. So I can do in 3 minutes what used to take me 3 hours.
Right.
Yay!
Well, this is a form of prospecting, which we talked about before, right? And again, it's managing your time.
Yeah.
And it's making your time useful, not just hanging out.
Yeah.
And so I think this is a really good point for people to really take a big look at.
Yes. So sharing the tips and trends. The second thing is hosting webinars. The third thing is writing articles.
Writing, yes.
Are you doing that?
I'm not doing
You're
that.
a literary influencer.
I read an article on LinkedIn this morning on that, and I said, I'm putting that on my 2025 goals. I'm going to be writing articles on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
Stay tuned.
All right. Stay tuned. All right. You're a literary influencer. You can write an article.
I know it.
So number 3 was strategic and consistent engagement. And so here's some ways to be able to do that. Proactively comment on posts.
Yeah.
That is so important. So I tell people, if you're scrolling, don't just scroll and hit the like button.
Right.
You need to go over. LinkedIn loves it when you spend just that extra half a second and you find the clap, the celebrate, the ha ha, the funny man, the love.
Right.
And then go down and comment thoughtfully at least 7 words. That will help you be an influencer. And I'll tell you, I made some really amazing connections by doing that with people I wanted to connect with, but they would never connect with me. Like I could follow them because they got 12,722 followers. And they're like, who's Cheryl? I don't know who Cheryl is. But I'll go to their post and make a comment and then go tag people on there. Now they reach out to me and they say, hey,
yes,
Cheryl, let's connect.
Yes.
Right. So that will elevate you as a networking influencer.
That's great.
And then to that point, giving shout outs. So you tag on LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever social media you're using, tag people.
Yeah.
In comments, you can tag all day long. In the posts, under 5 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the comments, tag away.
Tag away.
LinkedIn endorsements, I promised myself this past year in 2024, I would do that prolifically, and I am a big epic fail. Epic fail. I gave a couple. But ask for endorsements, give endorsements on LinkedIn, and then regularly follow up with contacts.
Yeah.
So
Those are great tips.
Yeah. So
Great.
use your CRM. Mm-hmm. We're always talking about that. Go back and find our other episodes. So
Well, I think this, again, is the word influencer scares people.
yeah.
They think, like I said earlier, they need to be a rock star. They need, that you don't need that. You need to just be a true professional of what you do, and where you're sharing the expertise that you have onto your LinkedIn community.
That's right. Well, hey, fellow networking influencer. Cheers.
All right. I like that. Cheers.
And thank you for joining us at Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
faster. And we'll see you soon.